Have you ever faced a challenge so big it felt like a mountain standing in your way? Maybe it's a health battle, a broken relationship, a financial struggle, or even a dream that feels impossible to reach. We've all been there, staring at that mountain, wondering how on earth we're supposed to move it. But what if I told you that the size of the mountain doesn't matter? What if I told you that your faith, even if it's the size of a mustard seed, can move it? In Matthew 17, verse 20, Jesus said something incredible. Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Think about that for a second. Nothing will be impossible. This is not just wishful thinking. This is a promise from Jesus himself. But the question is, how do we live in that kind of faith? How do we truly trust God when the mountain looks too big, too immovable? Let's start by breaking it down. Faith is not about denying reality. It's about trusting in a greater reality, God's power and his promises. When Jesus talks about moving mountains, he's not saying we ignore the challenges in front of us. He's saying that our faith is what will give us the strength, the courage, and the breakthrough we need to overcome them. And here's the thing, faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. So often, we look at our problems and feel overwhelmed because we don't see the solution. But faith isn't about seeing the solution right away. It's about trusting that God already has the solution. Think about David when he faced Goliath. Everyone else saw an unbeatable giant, but David saw a God who was bigger. He didn't have a battle plan, he didn't have armor, and he didn't even have the support of the people around him. What he had was faith. Faith that God had already given him the victory. And because of that faith, he was able to conquer the giant with just a single stone. You may be facing a mountain today that seems impossible to move. It may feel overwhelming, like you're standing at the base of something too big for you to handle. But I want to encourage you today. Faith is what turns impossible situations into testimonies of God's greatness. So, how do we build this kind of faith? First, we need to focus on God, not the mountain. So often we get stuck staring at the problem, analyzing it, stressing over it, trying to figure out every angle. But the more we focus on the problem, the bigger it seems. When we shift our focus to God, his power, his promises, his faithfulness, the problem starts to shrink. Isaiah 40 verse 31 tells us, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." This is the key. When our hope is in the Lord, our strength is renewed. We stop depending on our own limited ability to move the mountain, and we start depending on God's unlimited power. Second, we need to take a step of faith. Faith isn't passive, it's active. It's stepping out even when you don't see how things will work out. Remember when Peter walked on water? He didn't wait for the waves to calm down. He stepped out of the boat in the middle of the storm because Jesus called him. And as long as Peter kept his eyes on Jesus, he did the impossible. Maybe today, God is calling you to step out in faith. Maybe he's asking you to trust him in a new way, to forgive when it seems impossible, to give when it feels like you have nothing, to believe for a miracle even when everything says it won't happen. Faith is action. It's choosing to move forward even when the path isn't clear, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. Finally, we need to speak to our mountains. Jesus didn't say, think about your mountain. He didn't say, worry about your mountain. He said, speak to your mountain. There is power in your words. When you speak in faith, aligning your words with God's promises, mountains move. Start declaring God's truth over your situation. Speak life, speak healing, speak breakthrough. Speak to that mountain and command it to move in Jesus' name. Your mountain may seem big, but God is bigger. Your faith may seem small, but even faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. Trust Him in the process. Trust that He is working. Even when you can't see it, trust that His timing is perfect, even when you feel like it's delayed, and trust that His power is limitless, even when you feel weak. So the next time you face a mountain, remember this. It's not about the size of your faith, it's about the greatness of your God. Speak to your mountain, take that step of faith, and watch how God turns what seemed impossible into a testimony of His incredible power. Because with faith, nothing is impossible. Mountains will move. Trust God, and you will see it happen. As we close, remember this. No mountain is too big for God. Your faith, even as small as a mustard seed, can move what seems immovable when you place your trust in Him. Whatever challenges you're facing, speak to them with the authority that God has given you and watch Him work in ways beyond what you can imagine. If this message encouraged you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Conquer Faith for more faith-filled content that helps you face life's challenges with confidence in God. Thank you for watching, and always remember, with faith, mountains move, and with God, nothing is impossible. Stay strong, and we will see you on the next Conquer Faith.